Hi, I'm Jennifer Marco and I own Bottle Snugglers. I've been asked many times how Bottle Snugglers got its start, so I want to tell you a little of the backstory. When my son Max was born 5 years ago, I had a busy public relations practice, and I had an idyllic image of me in my office running my business like I always had, and a beautiful baby in a bassinet in my office who would sleep all day, and when he would wake up to take a bottle, I would take a break, and we would have feeding time, whether it was nursing or a bottle, and then he would go back to sleep in his bassinet, and I would go back to work, and I would have the rest of the day until he woke up again, and life would be just as it always had been, except now I have a beautiful baby in addition to a very busy practice to run. What I found when Max came home, though, was that he hated the bassinet. He would not stay in the bassinet if that's where he knew he was. And so now I have a business to run during the day, and instead of a baby in a bassinet, I have a baby in my arm all day. So I've got a baby in my arm and one hand left to run my business, which most of the time worked out fine. I think most moms learn how to do a lot of things with one hand. And most of the time I could take that 30 minutes every 2 or 3 hours and have feeding time, and it was calm and happy and blissful, just like you would want it to be. And then I would go back to holding my baby and doing my work with one hand. But every once in a while, when feeding time came around, life happened. I would have a deadline to meet, or a report to finish, or a client conference that I wasn't expecting, and it was also feeding time. And that was my priority. And I soon found that I no longer had enough arms to serve all of the masters that I now had. And it was really stressful. I think I was like every other mom. I was sleep deprived, I was overwhelmed, I was adjusting, and basically I was trying not to let anyone down. My clients, my colleagues, my family, the baby most of all, who was my priority, and I felt like I was serving so many masters and I was just failing at it all. And the final straw for me was one day I was sitting on my sofa in the middle of the day feeding my baby and just crying because I was so stressed, and I just knew there's no way I could get everything done that now is required of me the way that I used to. And so I started looking for help. And I searched online and I found 3 products that said that they would help hold baby's bottle. I ordered all 3. And one of them worked, and what a relief and what a problem solver for me. Now, I didn't have to use it for every feeding, of course, and I wouldn't want to, but now, during those times when I was working, when life happened all at once, I could hold the baby, Bottle Snugglers would hold the bottle, and I still had my one hand free to run my business or do whatever I needed to do just for a few minutes. And when I was done, I could take the bottle out myself and I would hold the bottle. What a stress reliever for me in the middle of the day to have a third hand when I needed it. And that's what Bottle Snugglers are for. You don't use them for every feeding. And you would never leave a baby alone with a bottle because babies can choke under the best circumstances. But those times when you feel like life is happening to you all at once, it's baby's feeding time and your other child needs your help, or toddler wants some of your attention, they want to read a book during feeding time, or the doorbell rings, the phone rings, you sit down to feed your baby and realize you haven't eaten all day. That's happened to me many times. During those times, that's what Bottle Snugglers can help you with. Now, you hold your baby. You don't interrupt your baby's feeding time just because of what you have going on, which is all of our priorities as a mom. You hold your baby, Bottle Snugglers holds the bottle, and now you have your one hand free to take on the world for a few minutes. And when you're done, you got your hand back, and feeding time is what it always was meant to be. That's what Bottle Snugglers can do for you. I'm so proud of them, and I hope you love them as much as we do.